To say, you know, I actually got a headache, and I'm not even lying to you watching this shit. Marco Antonio Rubio did not want to fight. Let's just get that out there. Marco Antonio Rubio did not want to fight. First, he didn't make weight. So I thought to myself, okay, he's pulling in Orlando Salido versus Vasyl Lomachenko. Orlando Salido knew he could no longer make 126 pounds. So what did he do? He didn't make weight, dropped his belt, went in there. He weighed in at 128. Went in there at like 148, you know, and gave Vasyl Lomachenko the ultimate experience of his young career. Vasyl Lomachenko was now a champion. I said that fight with Vasyl Lomachenko Orlando Salido had was Vasyl Lomachenko's guiding force for why he beat Gary Russell Jr. I'm not saying he wouldn't have regardless, but let me move on. Long story short, so I'm thinking, okay, Rubio, he didn't make weight. He came in at he weighed in at 168.8. I'm thinking he's going to come into the ring at about 190. He's going to try to bully Golovkin. But we saw, if you saw him, you're watching in HD, he was fat. So I'm thinking to myself, he must have got an envelope or something with his name on it. Did he take a fall or whatever the case may be? Now, mind you, HBO has been on somewhat of a roll when it comes to big fights this year in 2014, meaningful fights. So you get a guy like Rubio who has, if I'm correct, 51 knockouts, if I remember. And you get a guy like Golovkin who's somewhat unproven and hasn't fought that big Mexican name yet. I'm thinking like to myself, okay, Rubio only lost twice since 2006. To Kelly Pavlik, where he got knocked out, then to Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., where he lost a decision. So I'm thinking to myself, he's the WBC Interim Champion, the #1 contender to Miguel Cotto, his WBC 160-pound title. He didn't have to take this fight. So maybe he thought to himself, oh, I need a payday, and I ain't going to be able to fight Cotto because I know Cotto wouldn't pick a guy like me. Or maybe Cotto would, but, you know, he loses $100,000 because he didn't make weight, so they had to renegotiate the contract for the fight. Because they said, okay, well, we're not going to like cancel the fight with all these tickets sold out, so let's make the weight 162. But you got to drop your belt, and you know you got to give up 100K. Either way, none of it makes sense. And there's another question that I'm asking myself, and that's, wait a minute, why do Robert Garcia guys have trouble making weight? He said during the broadcast, HBO broadcast, and we're here live, I'm going to let you listen to Golovkin, but listen to me. He said during the HBO broadcast that Marco Antonio Rubio was 15 pounds heavier 2 days ago. So meaning that he was like 175 on like October the 16th. It's October the 18th, 2014. I'm T Street Controversy. This is T Street Controversy Live, and I cover boxing. I cover every single major fight live for Real Combat Media. The link is below. So since you're here, we got a little bit of time to talk. I want you to push, like, click on the link. I put all that stuff in the description box for a reason. Also, my like page on my YouTube page, you can see right there, it says like on Facebook. You know, I'm doing something somewhat unprecedented. Basically, you got to go to the page, or you got to be involved in my boxing forum to understand. All the links are below. I'm going to provide 24-hour boxing news. Other websites do it, but yeah, not like me. What I'm saying to you is, there's a reason why I'm telling you to do all this. So whether you believe or you don't, it's strictly up to you. Oh, I'm sorry, I got a toothache, ladies and gentlemen. I got a cavity. A big-ass cavity, too. So, let's listen to my man, Gennady Golovkin. Shout out to El Diablito Apparel for the hat, and the other hats, and the hoodies. Listen. Fuck Antonio Rubio. Fuck him Mexican style. I swear to you.
Thank you very much. Buenas noches, amigos.
Hold up, wait, we're gonna listen. Now listen. This is live. Well, not live, but DVR. This was like 15 minutes ago.
In the power punch category, is almost certain to be the winner of the fight. Max Kelvin stands by with Triple G.
Gennady, you said that this is not a dance, it's a fight. You call this Mexican style that you love to fight. Did you love this fight? Of course I love this fight. Give me a chance, just take my fans. Thank you very much. Buenas noches, amigos. Buenas noches, StubHub. ¿Cómo estás? Bien? Yeah.
I got a fucking headache, man.
Muchas gracias, Mexican style. Muchas gracias, Champion, Campeón. Thank you very much.
All right, call me when you're on the way.
So tell me about this fight. Of course, I like fight. I don't like dancing, I like fight. This is true fight. Did Rubio put up the kind of fight that you were expecting?
Yes, of course. Yeah, you know, just Rubio, he's not step back. You know, he's fighter. He's a good fighter. Respect him.
Did you think he was going to get up from that knockdown?
You know, yeah, first time, I'm not very hard punch. Just throw him. I think he's get up.
Just trolling.
Okay, Gennady, we've seen you now destroy all the contender middleweights who are not elite middleweights. We know that you've wanted to fight an elite middleweight for a while now. What is the plan after this knockout?
Max, look at me. I have 3 belts. You know, I'm saying here, I want to fight everybody. Just, I think next year, next fight, pay-per-view fight with great champions.
Meaning who?
Doesn't matter. I think first, Miguel Cotto. Respecting his great champions, Miguel Cotto.
The promotional issue with Canelo Alvarez, in terms of an impediment to making that fight, seems to be resolved. What about Canelo?
Of course, I respect him. He's a good boy. You know, and...
Canelo, good boy.
I won't fight. And I think so first, Miguel. Respect him.
Gennady, this is the first time fighting in Southern California. You sold out all the tickets. Next time I'm sure it'll be a bigger venue than it was today. When can we expect you back in Los Angeles?
Of course, this is my first fight in California, yeah. First, thank you very much for my fans, for my friend. Thank you guys, I love you.
That'll do. Congratulations as usual, Triple G. Jim?
I asked myself this. Now listen to me. Gennady Golovkin has the WBA Super World, the WBC 100. I don't know how they worked it out. I got to do some more research, but I'll do a video on it later. So he is the WBA Super World, the IBO. Now he's holding the WBC 160-pound #1 contender belt, but the catchweight they negotiated for 162. So maybe they negotiated for only Golovkin be able to win it, but Rubio had to vacate it. Whatever the case may be, it's somewhat unprecedented because the WBC president, Mauricio Suleiman, the new president, he's been very aggressive with mandatories and whatever the case may be. So it's rare that you see a champion in another organization, the #1 mandatory contender for another belt. So you have Gennady Golovkin, the recognized WBA 160-pound champion. Danny Jacobs got the other belt. So you got the Super World, WBA Super Champion Gennady Golovkin, then the WBA World, which is the one Danny Jacobs has. You know, Al Heyman fighting on Showtime or wherever it's NBC Sports or wherever. He's going to be fighting maybe Peter Quillen next. So follow me. So once again, I know I'm kind of being confusing, but you got Golovkin with the WBA, the IBO. I don't even count the IBO. I'm sorry, IBO, but don't even count because you don't ever see nobody say, like, you don't ever see no networks broadcasting fights for the IBO, you know, and repping it. So he's got the WBC Interim, which makes him the #1 contender for Miguel Cotto's WBC 160-pound title. And many, many fans, including myself, feel that Miguel Cotto's not going to want to fight him. And I guarantee you it's not going to happen at the full 160 pounds. It's going to be something that, like, at the low, at the most, probably like 158. Some shit like that. Because you hear Golovkin saying, yeah, I dropped down to 154 for the right fight. Or I dropped down weight for Mayweather. Freddie Roach is listening. Freddie Roach is like, oh yeah, we're going to try to get you down to 154.2, 154.7. 155.8, and then they're gonna walk away. They're gonna walk away from the table. They're gonna be like, ah, you know what? If not 155.8, we walking away. But it's gonna be just a sham. Then they're gonna come back like, all right. 156.7. You know, and that's how the negotiations go. That's what I heard, Logs. Though sure, I don't want to be dramatic. But Max Kellerman made a good point. He said that the only person that would willing to be that would be willing to fight Golovkin right now would be Andre Ward. Golovkin is the 160-pound champion. He's saying, well, why would I go up there to fight Andre Ward, basically, when I'm making basically $800,000 right here for Rubio? You know, and I make the same money for fighting him and probably take a defeat You know, and maybe that's just me thinking like a promoter. But let's talk about the 160-pound landscape. Now, he said he want to fight against the champion. Matvey Korobov, if you don't know who that is, and Andy Lee, if you don't know who that is, are going to be fighting for the vacant WBO 160-pound title that was vacated by Peter Quillin. If you don't know how boxing politics work, Peter Quillin and Gennady Golovkin never was going to happen. So then you have Miguel Cotto, who has the WBC belt. Miguel Cotto was taken off this year. Miguel Cotto fought injured without his Stone Cold Steve Austin medical electronic knee brace. Sergio Martinez, Miguel Cotto beating. You got the IBF champion, who's Jermaine Taylor, also a Heyman guy, and he would not dare. And that's what's fucked up with boxing. He would not dare put him in there with Gennady Golovkin. That's a shame. It's a shame. But I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live, and I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe along with Real Combat Media. It's a hostile takeover to a certain extent. I swear, I got the immune system of like a 90-year-old man, yo. Fucking tooth is killing me. It's always something. And I really was ready for the day, too. Long story short, T-Street Controversy Live.